Calling meeting number 282 of Downtown Toastmasters Club to order at 6:29 p.m. Actually need to find a gavel for this meeting. Good evening, downtown and guests and visiting Toastmasters. And thank you for joining us for this meeting. We are delighted to host you. If you are like me, I'm so excited about Christmas. That is the energy that is literally taking me day by day this month until Christmas. So I hope that you are on the same energy or something similar, and that you had a fantastic week, and that everything around you is amazing. My name is Mercy Mwangi. I am the club president of Downtown, and I welcome you all to this meeting. Would you believe that Downtown has been around for 11 years? Cumulatively, we've done the 282 meetings, and we have been around for 11 years of making this space safe for our members, for our guests, for visiting Toastmasters, 11 years of ensuring that we are building people to achieving their public speaking dreams and leadership dreams as well. So we are so glad that we still continue to be on this journey together as we move towards clocking 12 years next year. I'd like to acknowledge the people in the room. We have our downtown members, we have visiting Toastmasters, we have guests. So we can start with downtown members. Let's see those emojis. If you are a proud member of this club, please share your emojis. Can raise your hand, whatever you'd like to do. I see Kevin, I see Donvin, I see Faith, I see Kista, Monica. Thank you so much, guys, for always making the time to join and continuing with this journey. Can I see those reactions from our visiting Toastmasters? Visiting Toastmasters? I see Emily, I see Lakshmi. Welcome to Downtown. We are so excited to have you. Faith Mary as well, Kahura. Our dear guests, this is your first time, your second time, you're not part of any Toastmasters club. Can I see your reaction? Dear guests, do we have anyone in the building, in the call, the virtual building? Any guests? Okay. I'm sure they are somewhere on the way. So once again, I appreciate the fact that you made the time for this particular session. We see you and we do appreciate you joining us. I'd like to acknowledge the members of the Downtown Executive Committee. For the people who are in the room, I know Salim is there, Eric is there, Caroline is there. So we have the Vice President Education, who's Eric. If you can use your emojis, if you want to be seen on camera. Eric is in charge of the educational experience of our members. So for any guest, if you join, then you'll definitely be working closely with him. We have our Vice President Membership, who is Caroline. Caroline, if you can do whatever. Caroline is in charge of membership, so she'll definitely be your first point of contact. We have the Vice President, Public Relations. If you have been following us on social media, if you joined this meeting early, whatever was on the screen, we have our incredible head of PR, who is Kelvin Salim, and he is in charge of PR and communications. And then we have our secretary, Janet, who maintains the club documents and all the correspondence, and the treasurer, who's Frank, club finance, and lastly, the sergeant at arms, Joseph Karuga, who is in charge of our meeting setup. I'd like to invite the acting sergeant at arms, Maureen Kibathi, to please give us the meeting rules and etiquette. Maureen, over to you.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Okay, so here are the meeting rules. For role takers, kindly rename yourself. You can rename yourself as hash, then the role that you're taking. For example, hash timer, Amina. For the Toastmasters without a role, use the downtown name, then your name. For those yet to join, kindly rename as guest and your name. Then the ground rules, please keep your video on as much as possible for a better experience. Mute your microphone if you're not speaking. Vote for your best speaker, table topic speaker, and evaluator when called upon, and use the chat and reaction buttons to engage. Lastly, enjoy yourself as you've joined the meeting. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Maureen, for those meeting rules and etiquette to ensure that we run our meetings smoothly. For the benefit of our guests, Toastmasters International is a non-profit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. So wherever you are in Kenya, in Africa, anywhere in the world, you can be sure to find a club and a community that will support you in achieving your public speaking goals. Our mission in Toastmasters is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and, of course, personal growth. Here in downtown, we have one mission and one goal, which is to create a safe space where members, guests visiting Toastmasters are able to find community and achieve their goals. I'd like to call upon the club secretary to conduct the business session. Janet, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm in the call. Thank you, Madam President. So the minutes number 281 was circulated via WhatsApp platform, and here are the suggested amendments. Kevin Rubia was the proposer, and Faith Muhunyo was the seconder, and not vice versa. And the next meeting is on 13th today, and not on 15th as stated, as indicated in the minutes. Downtown members, following the review of the minutes, do we have any other amendments? All right. With the stated amendments, may we have a proposer of the minutes?
I propose.
Thank you, Maureen. And at the seconder of the minutes?
I second.
Thank you,
Kel.
Selim. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you. The minutes are hereby adopted. Thank you, and back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Madam Secretary Janet, and a big shout out to you for creating a challenge that incentivizes members to read the minutes. And Selim, thank you for confusing Janet. For me, that she didn't know who that was with that name. Great. So it's the moment that we have been waiting for. Our Toastmaster of the day is a man who lives life in high definition. I'm talking fast-paced, focused, and purpose-driven. Professionally, he works as a finance officer, but beyond the numbers, he's a leader on a relentless pursuit of the good, just like the action-packed movie that would describe his life, Six Underground. I hope you guys have seen that movie. Hope you watched it. It's a really good one. He's the man who knows the art of bargaining. If something costs 1,000 shillings, he'll confidently start at 400. That's very worrying. His mind, as he says, tends to exaggerate the truth, which might just be the secret ingredient behind his storytelling charm. Guided by Muhammad Ali's powerful words, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. He believes life is a privilege and giving back is a duty. His defining Toastmasters moment came early when he was pushed out of his comfort zone in his second meeting, and he learned that showing up consistently is the true key to success. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Toastmaster of the day with shouts and screams and emojis and everything, Dennis Kahura. Welcome.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Ali.
Alilililili.
Over to you, Dennis.
Thank you, Madam President, for the splendid introduction. Hope is a lovely emotion, but it's a terrible strategy. If all you do is wish instead of plan, you're leaving your future to kismet and setting yourself up for disappointment. And when you top it off with that fingers crossed emoji, without putting in the work, you're basically admitting you've handed your future over to chance. Hope feels good, but hard work gets it done. How often do we mistake a wish for a plan, confuse hope with strategy? We dream of the harvest, but forget to plant the seed, wanting results without putting in the work. At Downtown Toastmasters, leaders are forged through effort and manifested through perseverance. Here, we bridge the gap between aspiration and execution. You can't just vibe your way to success. Ambition without action is just daydreaming. The glow of good energy might open doors, but only discipline, consistency, and effort will keep them open. Success isn't a mood, it's a muscle. You build it through sweat, not just sentiment. I like to share a quote that captures the balance between faith and action. St. Augustine once said, "Pray as though everything depended on God. Work as though everything depended on you." For me, this is a reminder that hope and effort must go hand in hand. While we may seek guidance and inspiration, sometimes it's kismet that opens the right doors. But real progress comes from the work we put in ourselves. Our meeting this evening will take place in 3 key segments. 1, prepared speeches, where our speakers will deliver speeches they've crafted and rehearsed, sharing stories and lessons that matter to them. 2, table topics, our impromptu speaking sessions, designed to stretch your spontaneity and help you think and speak on your feet. And lastly, the third one, evaluations, where we reflect and give constructive feedback, helping each other grow in clarity, confidence, and presence. As your Toastmaster of the day, I will guide you through these segments with intention, awareness, and even a touch of mindfulness. Because, as the saying goes, dreams don't work unless you do. I invite you to do the same. Let this be a space where we really listen to each other and to ourselves. But I won't be doing this alone. Let's meet the incredible team making today's meeting possible, proving that hope backs us, optimism drives us, and hard work makes it all happen. Our timer today is Paris Odhiambo. She'll help us watch our time, to pause and reflect on something powerful, that hope, as beautiful as it is, only works when we move with it. So, as we begin, let's be fully present and genuinely hopeful. not as a wish, but as a promise, waiting for your effort to meet it. Because part of hope is also knowing when it is time to stop wishing and start doing. When asked, Perez, share one example of a time when you only met a deadline by relying on a miracle or some unexpected intervention. She had this to say, and I quote, I was tasked with paying my family's Nairobi land rates before the waiver ended in 2024, but the e-payment system had been down for weeks. So the office was my only option. The place was packed, the queues endless, and the system still painfully down. I was bloated that day, and my dress fluttered over my bump. So the security guard assumed I was pregnant. I played along, got served faster, and made the payment just in time. Looks like trickery really works. Over to you, Perez.
Thank you, Dennis. TMoD. My name is Perez Obiambo. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I am your timer for meeting number 282. My role is to help you all stay within your allocated time, especially for the speakers, and of course, so that no one gets gonged off on the virtual stage. I'll be using the green, yellow, and red signals on my screen to guide our speakers for today. Allow me to demonstrate. Green means you have reached your minimum time. Yellow means you should be wrapping up. And red means that your maximum time allocated is up. For today's prepared speeches, the first speaker, Joseph, has 7 minutes, and the second speaker, Mercy, has 15 minutes. For both speakers, the green signal will appear when 2 minutes remain, yellow when 1 minute remains, and red when their time is up. For table topics, the allocated time is 1 to 2 minutes. Ensure you stay within that allocated time, 1 to 2 minutes maximum. I'll signal green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. For speech evaluations or evaluators, the time is 2 to 3 minutes. I'll signal red at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. Our general evaluator, you have 7 minutes. I'll signal green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. At the end of the meeting, I'll share the timing report showing who stayed within time and who went a little over time. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Perez. Secondly, is the accountant. Our accountant today is Wilkista Mombi. She invites us to listen, not just with our ears, but with intention. Because hope, like good grammar, is about structure and choice. It's built word by word, action by action. When asked Wilkista, if you were a ray of hope, where will you shine your light and why? She had this to say, and I quote, if I were a ray of hope, I'd shine it into a mirror, just to feel its reflection bounce back on me. I'm in my final 2 weeks of coursework for my master's degree, with exams ahead and my thesis defense just around the corner. And amidst my own personal challenges, I'll admit I need that ray now more than ever. And I add, even the brightest rays need a moment to rest and recharge. Remember, a star is born out of darkness and shines the brightest when surrounded by it. Keep going. Your light is already showing. Over to you, Wilkista.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, for that message of hope. A is for apples, B for boy, E for elephants. The purpose of my role today shall be to watch out for filler words commonly used as crutch or pose feelers by anyone who shall be speaking today. Other than the usual filler words, I will also be watching out for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. The disadvantage with using these words in our speeches is that they make us uncertain. So we watch out for them, and at the end of the meeting, I will be reporting the number of times that each user has used these expressions so that we can keep on working on being more confident speakers. That at the end of the day, our and our airs will actually be for apples and enormous elephants escaping Eswatini. We will use our R's and A's correctly. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Ms. Gitau. That we go to the grammarian. Our grammarian is Jimna Wafula. He reminds us that words matter. And when chosen with care, they bring power and precision to our presence. When asked, can hope actually stop you from starting hard work and how? He had this to say. For me, hope does not stop me from starting the hard work, especially if the hard work is in line with what I am hoping for. I will give it my all to enable it work out. Over to you, Jimna.
Thank you, TMoD. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, as grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is kismet. Definition is destiny, fate. The idea that certain events or relationships are meant to be guided by unseen forces. Definition is destiny or fate. The idea that certain events or relationships are meant to be or guided by unseen forces. The derivatives include kismetic, which is an adjective relating to or characterized by fate. Kismetically, which is an adverb, it is a way that seems destined or fated. Examples in sentences include, their meeting at the airport felt like pure kismet, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together. She believed it was kismet that her dream job appeared just when she was ready for change. Sometimes life's detours aren't accidents, they are kismet in disguise, steering us towards where we truly belong. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day at any particular point. When the speaker will pronounce the word kismet, we will be encouraged to use any reactions. You can smile, you can use the flip emoji or any emoji just to encourage the rest of the speaker to keep doing so. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the words of the day. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jimna. And finally, our general evaluator, who is Carol Jenga. She reminds us that hope doesn't just look forward, it looks within. It's about learning, growing, and improving. Our general evaluator today embodies that spirit. Her role is to help us reflect, to look at what we've done well, what we've done well, and where we can even shine brighter next time. Because that's what hope really is. Believing that no matter how good we are today, tomorrow can even be better. When asked, name one time you ignored a small problem until it became a disaster and you are left wishing and hoping for a quick fix. She had this to say, and I quote, after high school, I had issues applying for campus and I was afraid to tell my family that I needed assistance. I prayed for the earth to swallow me. The Joint Admission Board had delays and system issues, but somehow this worked out in the last minute. Over to you, Karen.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. That is, during the preparation of the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting. I will take notes on everything that happens and doesn't happen. I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, organization, delivery, observation, and performance of duties. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Let's give our role takers a round of applause, even through reaction. Before we dive in, I encourage everyone to keep our videos on whenever possible. It helps us stay connected, engaged, and present with one another. And now we move into our prepared speeches segment. Each speaker today has selected a pathway project and prepared a speech with a specific objective to honor their efforts. Let us give them our full attention. And now, to our first speaker, Joseph Karuga, I asked, what is one thing you're hoping for now, but haven't actually started working on? He had this to say, and I quote, I'm hoping to be fluent in Mandarin one day, though right now I'm still stuck at Ni Hao Ma, which is a Chinese standard greeting, hello. But hey, every great journey starts with a single phrase. The fluency I seek is just a few thousand characters and a lot of effort away. At this point, I'll invite the first evaluator, Kevin Rubia, to introduce the first speaker, Joseph Karuga, and share the purpose of his speech.
Cosmetically, Karuga Munyua marks his birthday today by delivering his last speech of Level 2 of the Presentation Mastery Path. The speech is from the Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring Project, whose purpose is for Karuga to share some aspects of a previous experience as a protege. In 5 to 7 minutes, he will deliver a speech entitled A Malleable Mind. Karuga Munyua, A Malleable Mind, A Malleable Mind, Karuga Munyua.
Rumi once said that out beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing, there is a place. I will meet you there. I like to think of this place that Rumi spoke of as what we in Toastmasters we term as a safe space. And for us to create a safe space, mentorship comes in as a key aspect of it. What are some of the characteristics of an effective mentor? One of the things an effective mentor does is they're usually available and committed to their protege. They are also able to communicate really well with their proteges through active listening, being supportive and encouraging, and they're able to guide their proteges along their journey by understanding or being knowledgeable about the Toastmasters curriculum or the pathways. They are patient with their proteges as they also understand that people learn in different ways and at different speeds. They also offer constructive and relevant feedback to their proteges. And as for the protege, they must be adaptable. You have to be willing to learn. You've got to also be able to understand what you're pursuing and share the same with your mentor. You also have to be open to new ideas and new ways of seeing things. And you need to also be willing to ask questions, go out there and learn more from your mentor. This reminds me of a story once told about a Zen monastery where a young monk wanted to become a master meditator. And on this journey, in this monastery, he struggled with anger so much, such that whenever he was out there meditating, he would sit and any small thing, like even the creaking of the floorboards, or even a muffled call from another monk or a buzzing fly would irritate him and throw him out of balance. And so he approached a master monk and asked him, how can I achieve your level of strength and calmness that you have achieved through meditation? The master monk listened keenly to the protege and told him, how about you go meditate out in the open lake? There are no disruptions. And so the young monk took a boat and went out in the lake and started to meditate. And on the first day, it was blissful. Day 2, excellent. Then on the third day, as he sat there meditating, he had a loud bang. And all of a sudden, in rage and wanting to attack, he sort of came back to his consciousness, only to realize that whatever had bumped into him was an empty boat, which had just come untethered from the shore on the other end and drifted along with the breeze. And this shocked the young protege, the young monk who was meditating in his boat, because this is when he realized that all along there will always be factors or things around us that are going to interrupt or disrupt us. Things that are not within our control, such as the boat. But it all came down to what he would do about what happens to him. This very moment, he saw or realized that the lesson the master monk was trying to deliver to him, without actually saying it, was exactly that. That even at the monastery, there are going to be disruptions. However, how you respond to them is what will ensure that you can achieve peak meditation. And so with this, he left the lake and went back to the monastery. When he met the master monk, he told him the experience that he had and the lesson that he had learned. And the master monk simply smiled and nodded, because he then realized that his protege had learned his lesson. When we look at this relationship between the master monk and the young monk, you realize that the master monk was able to guide the young monk in a very unique way as a mentor. He listened without judging him, and he listened actively. He was able to direct him, though not make decisions for him. He was able, and through the directions that he gave him, the lessons came clear and the solutions came from the protege himself. He also was knowledgeable about meditation. He understood the subject really well. And he was also patient with this young monk as he also knew that he wanted to grow in meditation, although he was eager and also a bit unbalanced when it came to anger. He gave feedback, maybe not verbally, but when he nodded and smiled, the young monk was able to understand what it is exactly that his mentor meant or appreciated about his growth and learning journey on his path. And also, and for this young monk, he had become adaptable. He was willing to learn. He was willing to ask questions, and he was willing to share his goals with his mentor and tell him, this is what I want to achieve. I want to become as good as you are. How do I get there? What's the path that I should walk? This is essentially what had made him a good protege, and his mentor also an equally good mentor. He had the young upstart or the protege had a malleable mind. He was able to take in what was being taught, and this shaped the direction of his growth in the monastery. And as we go on along our path in a Toastmasters journey, some of these things are so integral as they tend to sort of level off the learning curve for us if we become malleable and we are able to take up lessons that are being dished out to us by our mentors. It is always easier to learn from other people's paths, mistakes, and also successes, as opposed to try and take it on ourselves and make the mistakes ourselves, then learn from those mistakes. It usually takes a longer time and it's costly in the long run. The young monk realized, in this realization, the Toastmasters program has incredibly made learning in this path not just easy, but also fun. And the fact that mentorship, being a journey itself, has changed so many people's paths and directions as they go along their journey. And so, once we're out here trying to take on our paths and the curriculum in Toastmasters, we ought to realize that there are things essentially that happen. And there are three types of people. There are people who are immovable, and there are people who move. There are people who are immovable, there are people who can move, and there are people who are movable. Those that make things happen. When people join Toastmasters, they tend to be the kind of people that make things happen. The people who are driven, the people who listen, the malleable minds. If enough of those people who make things happen can team up, they can, in essence, create a movement. Because, as I conclude, we realize that in learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. TMoD.
Thank you, Joseph, for that insightful speech. You've clearly shown us that a malleable mind is a true treasure, curious, adaptable, and ready to grow. It thrives on challenges, embraces new ideas, and sees mistakes not as failure, but as lessons. With patience, effort, and an open heart, a malleable mind can turn obstacles into opportunities and dreams into achievements. And now, on to our second speaker, Mercy Mwangi. Please note her speech includes a few intentional interruptions, all part of the delivery and message. So, if you notice a few unexpected pauses or moments of surprise, don't wonder what's happening. It's all by design. Sit back, enjoy, and let the experience unfold. I asked Mercy, at what point does hope become an excuse for inaction, and how do we recognize that line? She had this to say, and I quote, "Personally, hope becomes an excuse for inaction when I remain anxious about achieving a goal or completing a task. The words become louder than the desire to action. I recognize that line when it quietly turns into comfort instead of conviction." At this point, I'll invite the second evaluator, Donvin Oguda, to introduce our second speaker, Mercy Mwangi, and share the purpose of her speech.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, our next speaker, Mercy Mwangi, is about to take us on a journey titled Of Pawns Being Free. Sounds deep, right? Well, hold that thought, because this won't be your usual smooth sailing speech. Mercy is tackling a level 4 project from the presentation mastery path called Managing a Difficult Audience, as TMoD has said. And tonight, we get to be that audience. Yes, you heard that right. For once, interruptions are welcome in Toastmasters. The speech is 5-7 minutes long, but you, with your creative participation, it may stretch to about 12 to 15 minutes. Mercy won't be judged on what she says alone. Her evaluation focuses on how she handles the unexpected interruptions, the side comments, maybe even that one person who suddenly remembers they have a question mid-sentence. So let's give our best energy, our respectful mischief, and our attention as we welcome to the stage Mercy Mwangi of Pawns Being Free. Mercy Mwangi, take the stage.
Does anyone in the audience know how to play chess? Show of hands, emojis. Fantastic. I see a few of you. I hope you get to stick around as we explore this particular topic. Did you know that a random person in Russia can beat you in a game of chess while drunk? That up to the year 1299, priests were forbidden from playing chess, and so one of them invented the foldable board, and he made it look like two books lying together. And if this is not wild enough, inmates are probably the best chess players because they play most of the day, and they're finally being allowed to participate in international chess tournaments. As we dig deep into this story, type in your questions, your comments in the chat section. If you're a chess player, tell us about your experience, and we will address them after this presentation. Sergeant at Arms, kindly take notes. Toastmasters and friends, all people are born free and equal. And what started out in India as a pastime for nobles and kings years ago has now become a source of an unconventional form of escape and valuable lessons to those who are incarcerated. And so tonight, we get to explore the history of this unique experience and impact in 3 different countries. To begin, Daniel Lockman, a German historian, notes in his journal titled Playing Chess in Concentration Camps that this particular journey began in the 20th century in the countries from which concentration camp prisoners originated.
Can I, excuse me,
such
Mercy?
as, yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
to take you back. You talked of a chess player being drunk. Can you just clarify, drunk from what? Is it tea? Is it alcohol? Just clarify that.
Yeah.
I think we've lost Mercy, so let's hold on a bit. Unless we decided to go with the internet, it's okay. Let's give her a minute. You interrupted the network instead of interrupting the speech. Surely. You didn't read the script.
She's back.
It was not.
Mercy,
And
we were at the alcohol point.
okay, my internet was a paid actor. Allow me to share my screen. Agnes, you had a question?
Yes, my question was, you talked of a chess player being drunk, and I was just wondering, they were drunk from what? Is it tea? Is it coffee? Is it alcohol? So that we can know what we are going for.
That's a fantastic question. If you know Russia, Russia being a very cold place, they tend to drink a lot of vodka. They tend to drink a lot of alcohol. So people can be drunk, not because being drunk is a thing there, but because vodka helps to warm your body. And so in a random street in Russia, you can find people drinking vodka and playing chess. And believe it or not, they will defeat you in that game, even when they're tipsy. That's a fantastic question. Playing chess in concentration camps. As I mentioned, it's all started in Germany and Russia. And apparently chess was so popular in Russia that even during the World War II, they continued holding tournaments at war. And they even taught the game to the prisoners of war. That is incredible. Moving on to the second country, in the United States, there is a chess program in Cook County Jail, which is America's largest single jail site that houses more than 7,000 inmates. The positive impact of the game was far beyond what was expected. Firstly, there was social cohesion between American and Russian prisoners during tournaments. Be aware that this was something that was never seen up to that point. Secondly, it instilled qualities such as patience, positive thinking, critical thinking that enabled the prisoners to have an intellectual experience even behind bars. The best part, fellow Toastmasters and friends, was a sub-program dubbed Checkmates for Kids that allowed the prisoners to play chess
I tried
and to
to
stay
teach my
connected with their own children
I
via
tried to
Skype.
teach my friend
Inmates
chess,
could see and
but
talk.
he quit after one game. He said it was too
Pardon me?
harmful. Watch me. I I say I tried to teach my
Okay.
friend chess,
Yes.
but he said
Oh,
quit
okay.
after one game. Why is it so difficult again? Why not draft? That thing is hard.
Okay.
Am I
If
right,
you were the
guys?
teacher, if you were the teacher, then why do you still think it was hard? You're the expert, no? Frank?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. The challenge was, I am the teacher, I can understand, but when you're teaching people, sometimes we don't understand. They ask you over and over certain things.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be a good teacher, but a bad teacher, or a bad
Yeah.
student, but a bad teacher. So there is that option.
Okay, great. I completely understand. And it is, I believe, a misconception that chess is difficult. It will take time, most definitely, because it is a game of strategy. It has its own rules. It will take time, but you will, and with time, it will not be as difficult. So to whoever in the audience who believes chess is difficult, it is not. Will it require time and effort from your end? It will, but it is not a difficult game. Inmates could see and talk to their kids. Imagine the inmates and the children learned how to play the game. So they're able to play together and to play against each other online. That was incredibly heartwarming. English rather than 5,000 women effect.
Just to cut you short, Mercy.
The best part, no problem.
Just to cut you short, Mercy. I used to
Would you
listen
like to
my
contribute to the topic?
Yes, I do have some burning arguments that I would like to put into place. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. The story on chat, or you can let us know after the presentation. One of the prison officials observed, and I quote, "While they're thinking, should I take the knight or the bishop? They're not thinking about the situation they're in. They're not thinking about the bars on the windows and all the rules of prison life. This gives them a positive outlet for the mental energy that they have built up." Al Portman, a leading authority on the subject in the United Kingdom and the author of Chess in Prisons, notes that chess teaches prisoners to stop blaming others for their problems and how to lose gracefully. That magic board has been able to settle the scores of racial divide behind bars for years, as it provides the inmates a new kind of battlefield, one that involves their minds. Moving on to the next country, in South Africa, the notable efforts of the Gauteng South Chess Association has helped the prisoners deal with the isolation and the rejection that is often associated with the shame of being incarcerated. One of the inmates praised the efforts and attributed it to his peace of mind and even self-forgiveness. The association also contributes to the efforts of reintegrating the inmates back into society once they are released. A noble cause.
I have a question. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, your title, I can't understand how it relates to our daily lives, because I understand the pounds act like a bridge to something. So pounds, I disagree. They will never be free, because freedom itself is an illusion sustained by systems that always require subordinates. So explain to us, how pawns are free?
Okay, thank you for that point. That is a fantastic point. Remember, pawns in this case are actual human beings, and they are incarcerated. They're in prison. So here the goal is, how do we ensure that we, even in our own different prisons, still remember that we are worthy and we have power. So no matter the challenges that we're facing in our day-to-day life, you pointed out something that is very important. How does this actually apply to me in my everyday life? It is a matter of remembering my self-worth. It's for me to remember that I am a free person, that there is nothing in my way, that there is no circumstance that I am in that would make me, feel any particular kind of way, feel that I am not able to go above and beyond any circumstance that I have. So it's very important to ensure that even as we're telling our stories, are we able to relate with them? Is the audience able to implement something for their day-to-day life? So thank you so much for that, Janet. That was a fantastic point. Moving on to our last country, we are back to Kenya. So here in Kenya, we have Chess Kenya, which is the governing body that runs and manages chess in the country. So they conducted a research and presented its findings to the Senate in regards to officially introducing the game in the schools and the prisons curriculum. As this is still a work in progress, universities and institutions across the country frequently organize contests with inmates where they teach and learn from each other. As governments around the world continue to prioritize the well-being of inmates, chess has proven itself, to be a source of joy and redemptive qualities. And thus, I do believe we should consider it for both promotion and funding in the country's budgets. Before I conclude, it is at this juncture that I urge you all to also take up this game for yourselves and also for your families and with your friends, whoever it is around you. It is a great way to bond, to teach children impactful lessons, and it literally makes you smarter. There's evidence. You can look it up. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I really love the fact that you've taught us about chess and everything, but I would want to know what the pieces were for. You've shown us the pieces in photos, but were they relevant and what were they for? How do you use them to play chess?
Oh, that's a good point. We definitely should hold a tournament. As I asked before I started my presentation, we do have members who know how to play chess. And chess has different pieces. It has the pawns, it has the knights, it has the bishops. So if you're interested, we can have a tournament here at downtown where we can be taught from the basics. What are those pieces? What do they actually mean? Why are they so strategic? And why are we even able to implement it in our day-to-day lives? Because for me to say that a pawn is, could be someone who is in prison, someone who's facing a particular kind of challenge, it's because the pawn is literally considered to be that on that board. So we'll definitely hold a tournament, and we can get to learn how to play this incredible game, which, as I mentioned, I highly recommend for every single person and their children and their family to take it out.
Mercy, that was so fantastic about chess. But have you ever heard of a game called Mahjong or Backgammon? I mean, those are better games, honestly. I find, chess has been proven to be very linear. You think of, very moving pieces, this one, pawn, rook, but Mahjong, that is a dynamic game. I recommend it any day. I think you should do more research on that. I think that will even be more helpful. It expands the mind on lateral thinking. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. You've literally just added to our pile of games. So we will definitely need to learn that particular game. The only place I've seen it is on movies. I don't know if people locally in Kenya play that game. I'm so curious about it. So now we have two really important games to learn. And like you said, it also comes with its own lessons. We know the benefits of chess, so we're adding more games to this pack. So thank you so much for that suggestion. We're going to add that to our upcoming game nights here at downtown. Save the dates.
Hi, Mercy. Before you leave, I love chess myself, and I don't know whether you have an answer to this question. Do you have a particular age within which we should start teaching the kids to play chess? I have a 3-year-old, not sure she's ready for that.
That's a fantastic question. I have played chess with a 6-year-old child who beat me. I almost cried. So the earlier, the better. Because the good thing is children are able to learn those rules quickly. They're able to understand the rules really quickly. So if at 3 years, please just start with the basics, get the chess sets, let them see the different parts, let them know what their names are, get them to start playing the game early, and also take them to tournaments. There are different places that gather on Saturdays, especially, and children get to play with adults or play against each other. It's fantastic because remember, chess is not a game. It's a game you learn the strategies by yourselves. You can, but you do need that practice. So ensure that you are taking your children to these spaces to get to play against other people. I highly recommend. At 3 years, get them started. Any other questions? Great. And as you're taking the children for chess, please also play yourself. Do not drop the kids and go. Just also stick around and get to learn the game. In conclusion, it is clear that the positive effects of chess are undoubted. But why is it so popular with prisoners and yet they are considered to be pawns? Maybe because they find the activity helpful in their coping process, or it's a form of escape into a world of 64 squares. Whatever the reason, ladies and gentlemen, this game has given inmates the power to imagine beyond their circumstances and to finally see themselves as they've always been, men and women who were born free. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Mercy. You've reminded us that even when the path is not clear and in systems that seem rigid, we have the power to move, to choose, and to create our own paths. Please, let's take a moment to vote for the best speaker, our SAA. Could you kindly set up the poll? Great, I see it's up. And in the interest of time, I'm not so sure whether we can do table topics. President, could you advise?
Yes,
Please
we can.
proceed.
Great questions. Please
Thank
proceed.
you. Now into the table topics as we continue to vote our impromptu speaking sessions. The beauty of table topics is it demands instant action. You don't have time to overthink, only be here now. Trust your instincts, speak from where you are, and let kismet guide your words. Hope, that powerful feeling that can lift us in our dark moments. But hope isn't just about wishing, it's about action, perseverance, and believing that what we do today shapes tomorrow. So As we listen to each of the impromptu speakers, let us not only hear their words, but feel their hope, reflect on our own, and leave us inspired to turn hope into action. Our table topics master this evening is Monica Chiru. When asked, when have you avoided a difficult conversation for so long that you were just hoping the problem would magically solve itself? How did you finally deal with this? She had this to say, and I quote, keeping it all in would only tear me apart inside. So I choose courage to lift the bandage off and face it all, trusting that healing and hope begin the very moment I do. Over to you, Monica.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of Topics Master is to facilitate table topics where guests and members will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking. I will introduce the topic and call on a speaker who will be given 2 minutes to speak on the subject. Our theme tonight is, I hope it works out. Something we've all said right before things either went brilliantly well or horribly wrong. Let's see how our speakers handle these moments of blind optimism. The first question, if you would give a tip to someone nervously saying, I hope it works out, before they walk down the aisle, what would you say and why? Tess Gitau, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Take it away.
What should I say? I would say take life as it comes with intentionality, because you never know what is going to happen in the future. But if you take each and every day, one step at a time, then it means you're giving your very best. And the other bit is you're giving your very best, yes. And the other bit is you're making sure that in whatever you do, you're praying. Because in our actions, it is a prayer. So if you're able to give your best each and every day, love and trust is like a game. You just give your best and you never know if the other person is willing to return it. So as you go forward, trusting and hoping that this person loves you back just as much, then it means that if it ever goes wrong, you did love jealously, fiercely, and passionately. And even if it fails, you'll be able, yes, you will feel bad at some point, but you'll be able to move on, knowing that you gave your best and there's yet better things to come. And so as they walk down the aisle, I'd tell this person or this couple, give your very best. And also to consider that communication is important. Thank you, and over to you, Monica.
Thank you very much. And indeed, communication is very critical as you walk down the aisle. To our next question. How do you stay hopeful when your plans don't go as expected? How do you stay hopeful when your plans don't go as expected? Beatrice Mwangi, tell us.
How do I stay hopeful when my plans don't go as expected? I think it's all in the mind and what you tell yourself and what you believe. So you can plan for something and really prepare for it. But you're unable to implement it or move forward with it because of things that are beyond your control. So it's just a matter of remaining hopeful. It's not a time to give up. It's a time to even prepare more, put in more effort so that when the right time comes, or when the opportunity presents itself, then you'll be ready, and hopefully everything would work out at the end of it all. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. And indeed, everything will work out if you just attempt it. To our third question, have you ever tried fixing something yourself instead of calling a professional and said those famous last words, "I hope it works out"? Have you ever tried fixing something yourself instead of calling a professional and said those famous last words, "I hope it works out"? Frida Mutua, are you on the call? If Frida is not on the call, Diana Kerubo. I'll repeat the question. Have you ever tried fixing something yourself instead of calling a professional and said those famous last words, "I hope it works out"? Peris Wangombe, are you on the call? Joseph Wathuti? Patricia Ngunjiri, perhaps you will take up the question. I'll repeat the question. Have you ever tried fixing something yourself instead of calling a professional and said those famous last words, "I hope it works out"? Mike Kinyua, you want to take it up? Faith Muhunyo, you want to take the question?
Yes, I'm here. There's nothing as beautiful as when your parents can provide something at home. And the one thing that we were privileged to be provided for was a television. So here I was, very excited about it. So I knew as a firstborn, this is something I can do by my own. I took up the TV, smart screen, yeah, and said, let me fix it. And I know my parents will be so proud when they come back home. Actually did. Fixed it up on the wall. Superwoman, of course. And did it all well. I didn't try to check it out. I just thought it would be such a nice surprise to just wait for my parents. I hope it works out. I know it will. I mean, I'm a firstborn. I've been taught this before. I've seen my dad do this before. So why not? I did it. So here it is, 7 p.m., 7:00. And you know, in every African household, that time, every African parent will be very eager to see the TV or to watch the TV. So my parent is there. My dad will be doing this, hands on the back, very much waiting to watch the news. So we switched it on. I don't know how, but the new smart TV had lines. The lines that would look like it was broken in a way. Was I the problem? No, I was not ready to admit. But I thought it would work out. Did it? Well, I survived, guys. And as you know how parents would be beating you up, I did get the beatings, but I survived. I'm here talking to you guys today. So yes, it worked out. Did it though? Hopefully, we got a new TV though. Thank you.
Excellent, Faith. To our last question. Cooking can be an adventure until you hear the smoking alarm. Tell us about a cooking experience that went with, well, I hoped it would work out. Obed, Remy? Obed, are you able to take the question? Okay, perhaps I ask John Muhoro. John, are you able to take the question?
Can you repeat the question?
Perfect. Tell us about a cooking experiment that ended with, well, I hoped it would work out.
Yeah, I remember in the year 2003, I cooked my first ugali from the time I was born, because I was brought up in a homestead where we had so many girls. So this was the time that now I had started staying alone. And this now was the time that I prepared my first meal of ugali. And as I put the water, the correct ratio of water and maybe the flour, it did not come out as the normal ugali that I've been eating for a number of years before I cooked my first ugali. But at least at the end of the day, it became something that I was able to take. So that was a nasty experience, as being able to prepare my first ugali from the time that I was born.
Thank you, John. And hopefully with time you've gotten better. Well, whether it's a recipe gone wrong, perfect. Whether it's a recipe gone wrong or an idea or just another Monday morning, let's all keep hoping it works out and laughing when it doesn't. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
A big thank you to all our table topic speakers today. Tess Gitau, Beatrice Mwangi, Faith Muhunyo, John Mohoro. You didn't just speak, you shared hope. Each of you reminded us that hope isn't a feeling, it is a choice, a perspective, and sometimes a call to action. And now we get to vote for the best table topic speaker. Our SAA, kindly set up the ballot. As we vote, probably we could also reflect. When is hoping enough? When is hoping enough? Maybe we can make that contribution through the meeting, through the chat. Next, we go to our evaluation segment. A moment, not just for feedback, but for reflection. As we turn our evaluations for feedback, let's remember that genuine hope is more than a feeling. It's a catalyst for growth, learning, and success. Our evaluators play a key role in this process, offering feedback, encouragement, and insights that help us improve and reach our potential. Our first evaluator, Kevin, will now share his insights on Joseph's strength and any areas of growth. When asked, Kevin, please share a time when procrastination pushed you to the edge, where all you could do was hope, wish, and pray. He had this to say, and I quote, I have been working on my research proposal for the longest time, and I have resorted to divine intervention. My research proposal and I are in a long-term relationship. Over to you, Kevin.
Ni hao ma Joseph Karuga, and happy birthday to you. Choosing to celebrate your birthday with Downtown Toastmasters and friends is a choice, however, a very, very good one. Thank you for gifting us this pleasant speech. I'm going to share what I liked most about it and areas where we can add icing to this delicious cake. Your first was how you displayed yourself on your screen. You made sure that we could see yourself we could see your torso from the waist up. That allowed you to make movements when needed, to move to your left and to move to your right. Similarly, you used your hands to your advantage, whether it was a cough or it was toppling over, you made sure that your hands came alive. Friends, whenever we deliver speeches, even in online settings, always remember that this rectangle is your stage. Make use of it to the most of your ability so that your speech comes to life as Karugas did today. Secondly, your title, A Malleable Mind, was short and sweet like yours truly. When we have titles, friends, let's make sure they are long enough to let us know what you're talking about and short enough to not disclose everything, just like the perfect miniskirt. And that's what you demonstrated today by A Malleable Mind, where you gave us the story of this young monk who learned by being mentored by his master monk. That said, what can we improve moving forward? As you demonstrated yourself on stage, I noticed that you had some movements that were possibly unintentional. Do not listen to that voice that sometimes tells you to move. When you do not need to, please consider standing still and let your body do the talking. Otherwise, it might disrupt some members of the audience. Secondly, I would encourage you to infuse your own personal story. What do I mean? This was an opportunity for you as Karuga Munyua, who's turning 30-something today, to tell us your story of being mentored by someone in your 30-something years of life. It was nice that you shared a story about the monk. I even thought perhaps you'd end up being the monk at the end of the story, but alas, I was disappointed. That said, Karuga, I congratulate you on gifting us today by using gestures to your advantage and making sure that your title is short and sweet. Consider infusing personal stories and limiting the unintentional movement so that you can continue to inspire as you grow older, just like you did today. Well done. Can't wait for your next speech, hopefully on another birthday like today. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Kevin. Our second evaluator, Donvin, who will then follow to share his insights on Mercy's strength and areas of growth. When asked if you could write a single sentence to restore hope to a stranger, what would that sentence be? He had this to say, and I quote, "Relax. Life may not always send a text confirming it's working out, but trust me, it usually is. Just running a little behind schedule. Because sometimes hope isn't about seeing instant results. It's about believing that behind the delays, detours, and disappointments, life is still quietly aligning the pieces for your good." Over to you, Donvin.
Anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm, but true mastery is steering steady when the waves rise. A normal speech is that calm sea that many of us can do, but you're becoming a master through this project. 1, you acknowledge the interrupters. That was good. You listened. Good question, Mercy. Eric added a new game, and you quickly acknowledge that it would be good for us to add it as part of our ammunition for the next game night as downtown, so that then we probably could have more fun. You acknowledging that perspective is respectful, it's professional, and it makes people realize that, yes, you adore them, and they probably listen to you more. That is important. 2, you listened and responded, and in your response, we saw knowledge on the subject matter. When talked about alcohol in Russia, when talked about the age of children, well, it was not part of the direct subject, but how you responded shows the listener that the person they are listening to is knowledgeable. So by listening, you show them respect. By responding with that, then they kind of realize that, yes, the person steering this ship is actually competent enough to sail me through. Number 3, you mentioned at the beginning that questions and answers will be received at the end of the presentation. That is important, so that if Faith has a question and she was listening carefully, she should have known that questions would be coming at the end. You mentioned that, and you said that it's on any questions would be picked by the essay on Sergent attempts on question and answer via the chat box. That was important. However, Mercy, your delivery had such composure and intention. Even the brightest stars still need the night sky to shine. Let's now look at a few areas that could make your next performance glow brighter. 1, I'll pick up where we ended on the question and answer. At the end of after listening to the first person, you'd have encouraged them to stay patient and ask the other people that Q&A will be coming later, so that you are able to pass your message. With that, you'd achieve 2 things. You'd be able to cover your time, because you took 18 minutes instead of the planned 12 to 15. You're able to cover that. And secondly, other developers will know that there's space for that. The third thing you'd achieve with that is that even the essay would know that they need to keep encouraging people to drop in their questions for you. Second thing you could do is avoid engaging the audience during that time. Why? You're giving these people the stage that is rightfully yours. By doing this, the discussion can take any direction, depending on the person you're dealing with, and you could end up losing the ground to them. So at that particular time, keep the conversation brief, end it as soon as possible, so that you're able to reclaim the stage and complete your message. Thirdly, encourage them to be patient and listen to the end, because like in your case tonight, there's a question which ended your speech. When you gave the application of chess playing in our real life, technically you summarized the speech, and everything you said after that had the conclusion done. Therefore, I encourage you to continue acknowledging them, let them feel good, listen carefully and respond, and keep inviting people to send questions at the end. To get better, encourage your audience to respond when the Q&A and the essay to collect questions. Secondly, encourage patience to the end so that you can deliver your message, and avoid engagement with the interrupters during the speech. With this, I look forward to a great speech. While Kevin waits for the next speech during the next birthday, for me, I hope you don't have to wait for your next birthday to deliver the next speech. Probably the next meeting could be good time for us to hear another speech from you, because 1 year is too long. Trust me. I see you in the next speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Donvin, for your thoughtful evaluation of Mercy's speech. Our last evaluator, Emily, will then share her insights on Kevin's strength and any areas of growth. When asked, how do you know when your hope is realistic versus just a fantasy? She had this to say, and I quote, sometimes it takes intuition, research, and real effort to know whether to hold on to hope or to recognize that it's turned into a fantasy and it's time to move on. Over to you, Emily.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. And once again, happy birthday to our dear speaker. You have done very well. And I want to celebrate your evaluator, Kevin, for echoing that today is your birthday and celebrating you. By doing so, he has shown that he deeply cares about you, not just as a speaker, but as a person. Kevin, you did a fantastic job of sharing some nuggets that he could use to apply as he grows as a speaker. What did you do well? In terms of your speaking room, by standing up and demonstrating the way that he presented his speech, you were able to show us the significance of standing up when giving a speech, especially to an online audience. It feels engaging, it feels like you're connected more, and we're able to relate with you a lot better. Another thing you did well is a teachable moment, especially when you spoke about gestures. By showing everybody what he did well when coughing or when he put his hands around, you were able to involve the rest of the audience to see the significance of using gestures. A third thing you also did well is coming closer when you needed to emphasize a point. Not only does that feel like you are really speaking to me, but then it also feels like you are really delivering a strong point. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing tougher than being able to connect with an audience, especially online, than how Kevin has shown it to us. And it's such kismet that the person he's evaluating today is getting to turn a year older. How can Kevin continue to improve as an evaluator? One thing I noticed is when he was giving feedback about the pacing, I feel he could have done better by showing the use of the stage, because I believe that that is what the speaker was going for. By being able to demonstrate that instead of feeling like you need to occupy all the space, that intentional movement would help with being able, as opposed to standing still, would feel more optimize the use of your stage, and you are able to practice better when engaging. Kevin, I sincerely celebrate and appreciate how caring you are, not just as an evaluator, but as a brother looking out for another brother on his journey of public speaking. You did well to involve the audience by demonstrating and giving a teachable moment on the use of stage and showing your torso, and also coming closer to emphasize a point. One thing I would recommend is, especially when it comes to standing still, sometimes that can feel a little nervous. I encourage you to also give advice on how to use the stage, especially on this tiny little box. Well done, Kevin, and happy birthday to your speaker this evening. Back to you, TMoD.
Thank you to our evaluators. Your insight and encouragement show us that genuine hope drives growth and success. By guiding and inspiring us, you turn hope into action. Sometimes it feels like kismet, bringing the right guidance at the right time. Well done. Now, kindly let us cast our votes for the best evaluator. SSA, kindly set up the poll. As we continue to vote, we move to the next section, which is for our reports. We now turn to our role takers for their reports. If a doctor was to do a wishful thinking test and give a report, how will this be? Probably they would say the status of hope, or wishful thinking, overused but still hanging in there. Symptoms: excessive daydreaming, occasional optimism, and a tendency to ignore deadlines. Prescription: a dose of action, a sprinkle of effort, and maybe a less few fingers crossed. Prognosis: excellent if work actually happens. And we begin with our timer. Over to you, Peris Odhiambo, for you to share your report.
Thank you, TMoD, again. And in line with our theme, I hope it works out. Time-wise, it mostly did. Here's a quick overview as to how the meeting unfolded across each and every segment, along with reflections and tips, just to help us strengthen our future sessions. So for the opening remarks and ground rules, the shift was pretty smooth and we were on time. However, when it came to the prepared speeches, Joseph, you spent 10 minutes, which was way beyond allocated time. There was a technical hitch on my side, which unfortunately prevented me from signaling Joseph. As a result, he went overboard. Mercy, also because of the technical hitch, you hit 18 minutes and 3 seconds. You delivered at the upper limit of your allocated time. So aside from the interrupted connection, which caused delays, your speech extended to 18 minutes, 3 seconds. But despite this, your presentation remained engaging and effective. For the table topics sessions, we had a total of 4 speakers, that is Tess, Beatrice, Faith, and John. Tess, you delivered in 1 minute 45 seconds, Beatrice in 54 seconds, Faith in 1 minute 22 seconds, and John in 1 minute. So the table topics sessions demonstrated just excellent timing overall, where participants responded, the present ones responded promptly, with speeches staying neatly within 1 to 2 minute range. However, time was lost while identifying the next speakers. So to improve, the TMoD should pre-select or quietly just queue the participants in advance to ensure minimal downtime between the speakers, and this keeps the session dynamic and engaging. Evaluators, our valuable evaluators, that is Kevin, Donvin, and Emily. Kevin, you were within the time limit, that is 3 minutes, 31 seconds. Donvin, you spent 4 minutes, 11 seconds. And Emily, you spent 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So this was within the time limit, but probably for those of us who extended, if we could find better ways to summarize our feedback, that would be great. That is my timing report, and over to you, back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Dennis.
Thank you very much, Timer, for that clear and comprehensive report. You've kept us grounded in time while keeping the spirit of hope alive. Next, I'd like to welcome the grammarian. Over to you, Jim Nawafula, to share your reports.
Thank you, TMoD. The word of the day was rarely used today, and because of that, I'll wish to just go through the word of the day again, so that each and every one of us will have an assignment during the week, just to make sure that you try and use this particular word of the day, so that at least we perfect our speech. And anytime we have, just to encourage us that anytime we have this particular session, we try as much as possible to make sure that we've used it even once or twice. The word of the day was kismet. It means destiny or fate, the idea that certain events or relationships are meant to be guided by unseen forces. That is kismet. The people who used, or some of the speakers who used this particular word of the day were Dennis, who used it 3 times. Kevin, Rubia used it 1 time. As I've told you, try to use the word of the day in the course of the week. And anytime you do use this particular word, flip your fingers, let the people wonder, the people you are working with wonder why are you flipping the finger? But inside, you just tell yourself, congrats, I've used the word kismet. To go on to the people, there was effective use of grammar. Here are some of the quotes, thoughts, words, or things that really liked. Dennis said, pray as though every us. Some words like integral, some good words like integral, malleable minds, dished out, which I really liked. In learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn. That is one of the quotes that Joseph Karuga also left us with. To go on to Mercy, she had words such like respectful mischief, which I really, that was for that was Donvin, that wasn't Mercy. Donvin said respectful mischief, which I thought it was also good. Mercy talked about world of 64 squares, which was referring to the game of chess, which I thought also was good. Kevin Rubia also had some good words or sayings. Adding ice to this cake, just like a perfect mini skirt. The last or some of the one other saying that I caught from Donvin Oguda was, even the brightest star needs the night to shine. So there was good use of thoughts, good words. There was use of sayings that I really liked from a majority of the speakers, and keep it up. Thank you so much. Back to you, TMoD.
Thank you very much, our grammarian. Next, I'd like to welcome the accountant. Over to you, Wilkista Mombi, for you to share your report.
Thank you very much, TMoD. I'm happy to share my report this evening. First and foremost, there wasn't much use of filler words tonight. I was nonetheless able to capture a few. Mercy, you had one Tess, you had one at the beginning of your response to the table topics question. Beatrice Mwangi, you had 4 R's, and Jimna, you had 4 R's as well. Kismet would have it that there was some exceptional usage of common filler words A that I did not capture as filler words per se. I'll give an example. Eric used the word A when saying, backgammon A. It wasn't necessarily used as a filler word, but rather as an exclamation of excitement. Faith Mohonyo used the word A when she was talking about flat screen TV, I think to emphasize the situation that she was in because of the gadget that she had actually destroyed. It was the usage of the words A, but I did not consider them as filler words because they were used to beautify or bring expression of what they were trying to convey. Nonetheless, to be safe, we should be very careful on the usage of such words as, but I wanted to point out the exceptional use of those words in other ways other than filler words. Thank you very much. Back to you, TMoD.
Thank you very much, accountant, for that thorough report. Your keen ear reminds us that clarity and confidence grow when we are mindful of our words, a hopeful step towards better communication. Lastly, I'd like to welcome our General Evaluator. Over to you, Carol Jenga, for you to share your reports. Carol, are you with us? Carol, is she in the meeting? As we probably wait for her to reconnect, we can take a reflective question. If you only rely on hope, what's the worst thing that can happen? If you only rely on hope, what is the worst thing that can happen? Probably we can give our reaction via the chat box. I see Carol is back. Are you with us?
Sorry.
Are you ready to give your report?
Yes, I'm ready to give out my report. My apologies.
Kindly go ahead.
Thank you. Here is my report for our meeting today. I'll start with the SAA. I loved how she taught her, sorry. I'll start with the SAA. Maureen showcased how to rename ourselves during the meeting and gave out the ground rules, which are supposed to be followed during the meeting. To our TMoD, I love the theme of the day, and congratulations for being the TMoD as your first time. I loved how you planned for the meeting during the preparation, how you asked questions which related to the theme of the day. Also, you ensured through the WhatsApp group of all the role takers, you engaged with us asking different questions, and also for us to reply using emojis and short funny videos on fingers crossed and what hope is all about. A thing that I'd like the TMoD to work on is when introducing a role taker, kindly ensure you give a short, precise introduction so that you can keep time during the meeting. To our role takers, for the timers, I loved your great introduction for your role, which helped us to know what is expected of you during the meeting. The only issue I had is during the speeches, but the good thing you stated during the meeting that you had a technical glitch. That's why you didn't use the timer cards during Joseph and Mercy's speech. But through the table topics and the evaluation part, you used the timer cards. To the R counter, a great intro, which I will start using when I become the R counter, maybe in the next meeting. Where you stated R is for apple, A is for enormous, elephant. To our grammarian, great word, kismet. The only issue with the word of the day, it was rarely used during the meeting. I hope all the participants in today's meeting will practice to use the word kismet in our daily lives. To our speeches, let's start with the birthday boy, who is Joseph Karuga, whom recently I got to know that he was a chess champion in his school. Great speech from Joseph Karuga. We have another speech from Mercy Mwangi about chess.
I know most people enjoyed the part where she started her speech where drunk people win chess tournaments. A lot of people are planning to go to Russia to go and take drinks that is vodka. Vodka is known to be a huge part of Russia, and also to play chess. To our evaluators, we start with Kevin Rubia. I loved his evaluation, and also for the first time, I've seen an evaluator stand up and do an evaluation. Like, okay, an evaluation should be done in form of a speech. And congrats to Kevin, he did it in that way, where he showed how to use the stage during the meeting, and also how he represented how to use the square box in our laptops or in our computers during the meeting while presenting a speech or while presenting an evaluation. To Donvin, I love how he used the sandwich method, where he stated what Mercy did well, what Mercy needs to work on, and the recommendations that he needs to be done. And also he gave out a saying where the brightest stars also, okay, I didn't get the whole quote, but he gave out a great quote during his evaluation. Last but not least, we have Emily, who evaluated Kevin, and she highlighted how Kevin didn't notice Joseph only as a speaker, but also remember that it was his birthday. So to Kevin, Joseph is not only there to provide a speech, but also as a friend to show gratitude and for Joseph turning an year older. And also, I loved how Emily showed how Kevin would have demonstrated how to use a stage during the meeting. In my part, the meeting underwent well, and I enjoyed the whole meeting. Thank you, and back to you, Dennis.
Thank you, Harold, for such an insightful report. Your feedback not only highlights what went well, but also reminds us that growth comes from reflection. And that's where hope lives. You've shown us that hope isn't just a theme, it's a lens through which we can see our potential more clearly. As we wrap up today's meeting, I want to thank each one of you for bringing the theme of I Hope It Works to life in your speeches, evaluation, and participation. We've seen that hope isn't just a feeling, it's a choice, a commitment, and a call to action. Let's live here inspired, ready to shine a ray of hope on others through our words, actions, and everyday interactions. Remember, we are all humans, and in times of weakness, we should allow others to help. Sometimes it's kismet that guides the right hands to support us. Hope shines brightest when paired with effort and supported by a network of supportive community, just like here at Downtown Toastmasters Club. My parting shot: hope is cute, work is lethal. Guess which one wins? With that, I now hand the control of the meeting back to our presiding officer, Mercy Mwangi. Thank you.
Can we all just unmute? We are 30 plus people. This was such a fantastic meeting, an amazing theme, and Dennis deserves a round of applause. I cannot hear you guys. I cannot hear you.
Woohoo!
Woo!
I want it.
Hope is cute. Hope is cute.
Hope is cute. That was a fantastic part. cutting short, you simply cannot forget. You literally saved the best for the last, Dennis. That was a fantastic thing. This was your first time as Toastmaster of the Day, so fantastic job, Dennis. From the time you joined the club, you have just been on this train trajectory that keeps going up. You're doing a fantastic job both in downtown and also in the other clubs like Rafiki, for example. Thank you so much for taking us through that session. That was amazing. It was quite reflective. You gave us different questions, so we had such a rich meeting with different responses. I saw some really cool ones on chat. Fanny says, hope is enough when you've done everything you can, and the rest is out of your hands, waiting for results, outcomes, or answers. In those moments, hope becomes surrender, not denial. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Penny, for your contribution. And Makori says death will happen. I completely agree with Faith. This is only something Makori would say. If you know him, you definitely know that is something he would say. I'd like to call upon the Sergeant at Arms to present the ballot results. Over to you, Maureen.
Good evening once again, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
So I hereby present the results. And the best evaluator goes to Emily Manjeru.
Woo!
Claps.
Congratulations.
Okay, drum rolls for the best speaker. The best speaker goes to Mercy Mwangi.
Yay. Thank you.
Drum rolls. The best table topics goes to Faith Muhunyo.
Wow.
Thank you all for your participation.
Thank you so much, Maureen, for that. It is a ladies' night in downtown. From the best speaker, best evaluator, best table topic speaker, the women are winning today. We've won all the slots, so congratulations to everyone and every role taker, every participator, and to the other speaker. Congratulations to us all. Moving on to a few announcements before we adjourn the meeting, I would like to congratulate the contest winners. We held our club contest about 2 weeks ago in the last week of October. So congratulations to Selim, Faith, Janet, and Kevin Rubia, who will be presenting the club in the area contest, which will be in February. A lot of that information will be shared. We invite our guests, we invite visiting Toastmasters, every single person to come and see what exactly happens in the larger contest stage. I would like to congratulate the runners-up. You guys did a fantastic job. Downtown we delivered an amazing contest. We had a really large group of participants. The room was full of guests and other visiting Toastmasters. You guys brought in your A game, the contestants. You guys were amazing. So congratulations to all of you. All of you are winners, and we cannot wait to see you winning in larger stage. And thank you, a huge thank you to the planning team. It was all hands on deck, and the team was led by Jacinta Murithi, the previous Vice President Education. So thank you so much for every single person who came on board, to the judges, to the other role takers, every single person. You guys, we delivered a fantastic contest. We have our last physical meeting of the year this month. That will be on 27th November at Cardinal Otunga Plaza, last physical of the year. Please come, let's celebrate the year. We've had a fantastic year as downtown. Let's come share stories, and yeah, let's see how we end the year. But we still have a virtual meeting in December, so that will be the last meeting of the year. Before I adjourn, I'd like to give the floor to two people guests visiting Toastmasters to give us feedback about the meeting. How was your experience? What did you learn? What did you like? Do you have feedback as to how we can improve? I'd love to hear from you. Anyone who'd like to volunteer before I start calling names?
Good evening, Downtown Toastmasters.
Hello.
My name is Maureen. Yes, I'm joining you from Nyeri. I am a member of Nairobi Butlers Toastmasters, serving as the VP. I really enjoyed your meeting. I loved that you guys put on your videos, most of you, like 10 of you put on your videos. I think it gave me an aspect of who Downtown members is like, even though it's an online meeting. Sorry, I can't put on mine. My club is here with me. So I also loved that there was a smooth transition, starting at 6:29 and ending the meeting on time. That's something that we are really working on in our club. So kudos on that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed my meeting. Yes, I will start to engage my 3-year-old on chess. Thank you, President Mercy, for that encouragement. Good night and thank you.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
Good
That is so
night.
sweet. You're most welcome, Magdalene. Thank you for joining us, for bringing your family. Toastmasters is a family event. Please bring your little ones, bring your friends, bring your spouses, bring every single person. And thank you so much for that feedback. We really try. We are all just work in progress. So thank you for that. Allow me to adjourn the meeting so that it's actually that we've ended the meeting on time. But please stick around. We'd like to hear from more people. So it is now 8:30 p.m. and I hereby adjourn meeting number 282. Sergeant at Arms, kindly stop the recording. Okay.